Find out what is happening at the library, from virtual programming to fun new services. Learn tips, tricks, and discover what is trending in the world of books and reading. Hear recommendations on books, movies, TV shows, and so much more. This is In the Stacks at Mustang Library.
So this week's latest service that we have are our bundles to go, our grab and go bundles. You find these at the window when you're running through. If you need an extra, I'd like something but not really sure what, you can grab one of our bundles. This week we've got couples bundles. We've got a wolf bundle of books and DVDs. We've got kids folk tales. We've got mysteries back here. So when you need a suggestion, just let us know and we'll check it out for you at the window. Take them all, watch what you want, read what you want, and bring them all back. See you at the window.
So I saw last week the library had another banned book week display. Are these still important? Are banned books still important, and why do librarians still advocate for these
Well, that's a good question. Books are still being banned and challenged today. While books have been and continue to be banned, part of the banned book week celebration is that in the majority of cases, we're able to keep these books available to the public. And challenged books, or books that are challenged being censored, we have champions like librarians, teachers, students, people in the community that speak up and speak out for everyone's freedom to read. And librarians and libraries are advocates to promote your freedom to read. Did you know that this year there was a 14% increase in censorship challenges?
No, that's astonishing. Where are these challenges coming from, and where are they challenging?
So most of the challenges are in a public library setting. In fact, this year it was 66% of challenges that were public library incidents for censorship. Schools, university, and special libraries followed. In fact, this year there were 377 censorship challenges tracked by the American Library Association offer for intellectual freedom.
So what are people and groups challenging? What are the books that come up year after year?
So one of the books that continues to come up and has this year is something like Drama, written by Raina Telgemeier. And Drama is a popular graphic novel. And did you know it was number 8 this year on the most challenged books list?
That's amazing. That's one of our most popular books for kids and teens.
And it's surprising. You wouldn't think there would be much controversy surrounding a best-selling novel, a graphic novel about a middle school play. But this book doesn't even include any profanity, drug or alcohol use, or even sexual content, yet still it shows up on the challenge or banned books. It is one of the New York Times and book lists and Washington Post best books. It's received awards, the Stonewall Honor and the Harvey Award for best books to read in the summer, best books for teens, and yet it continues to be challenged.
So what was the major complaint about this book?
The reason for the challenge is the content and concerns that it goes against family values or morals because the identity of some of its characters that are challenges for the LGBT community.
So is identity a popular challenge?
It is. In fact, it showed up in a children's book recently.
What would that be?
Well, there is a children's book called A Day in the Life of the Vice President, written by the Vice President's daughter, Charlotte Pence. This book was not challenged, but a parody of the book was challenged.
So how can a bunny telling a story be so controversial or so alarming?
Well, the book was written as a parody to stand up for the fact that LGBTQ rights are not being recognized in this country. And the book's parody talks about the fictionalized family pet and a day in the life of this rabbit. However, the parody is Marlon Brando is gay and he marries another boy bunny. And it is a satirical nod to the vice president's stance against same-sex marriage.
So I see another book that I recognize from my university, something that we read in sociology. How can that be on the banned books?
That's a great question. There are several books that are on recommended reading for college students, and Nickel and Dime is one of them. In fact, it was number 8 over a decade ago and continues to remain on the list. The reasons that it is on the banned book list includes drugs, offensive language, it pushes political and religious viewpoints, and it also claims to have inaccuracies. And it continues to be challenged. In fact, it was one lawmaker that challenged this for the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, and they went on record saying this book was creating a pattern for the university, that it was being anti-Christian, and because of that, it should not be recommended reading. The author left her home, and she took the cheapest lodging she could find and accepted whatever jobs that she was offered so she could experience and reveal how low-rent America, in all its tenacity, is able to have great strengths in their survival. But she was dealing with the controversy of conservative viewpoints and trying to show how does anyone survive alone and prosper on a minimum wage. And because of that, it was challenging big business. And that is where you see some of the controversy.
Incredible. So of course we have also classics that are challenged year after year, things that everybody has read in school and are the most American.
So To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee is one of the most challenged books of our time. It is not only one of the most challenged books, but it is also considered one of the best novels of the 20th century. It is the most controversial, and it is the most banned and challenged classical book. So it doesn't mean it shouldn't be taught in schools, but they're asking and suggesting teachers to take a look at it and think critically about Atticus and not just the men who oppose him. To Kill a Mockingbird was challenged for a variety of reasons. One of the themes was rape, use of profanity, and racial slurs.
So if we didn't have some of these books in our libraries and public libraries and schools, what would we lose from that?
That's an excellent question. When people want to take away our freedoms to read, when they request from publishers to remove content or change what is written, you're changing history. You're changing the way something is perceived at that point in time. And Chris Sergel, who is Vice President of Dramatic Publishing, he acknowledged that he continues to receive requests to have specific words removed or changed, and he always denies them. One thing he said that I think is a basis for why we celebrate banned books and why libraries are such an important part of this history and advocate is because being uncomfortable with history is not means to change it. People need to figure out how to confront issues, and that is precisely what banned books does. It highlights all kinds of issues, and the library is the platform to examine them.
And now it's time for a book review.
Our book review today is JOMO, Celebrate the Joys of Missing Out by Jessica Meisner. Some suggestions in this book are sillier than others. For instance, try parkour, compared to make room for productivity. And some suggestions are simpler than others, like watch The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel rather than DIY an escape room. But this book has a great list of new things to try and fun ways to have fun at home. Perfect for our current lives. Some of my favorites include tour a foreign country on Google Earth, make a bucket list, play darts, and feng shui your space. This last one comes with a how-to. Check out Joy of Missing Out for some new ideas on how to have fun while staying at home. This book was reviewed by our librarian, Michelle. More reviews can be found on Scottsdale Public Library's Goodreads page and in our library catalog.